Good day. It's a nice day to be in the garden. A little bit chilly where I live right now. So I guess it's chilly pretty much everywhere. I live in Texas and we're expecting snow on Monday, which where I live in Texas is not something we usually expect. But the fun part of today is it's Chinese New Year. It's the 12th of February. And actually, Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year extends across 16 days. But when I was looking for a crystal to talk about, and talk about the next year, I decided I wanted to focus on something that had to do with the upcoming year. And the crystal I pulled is Morganite, and it means relationship healing. And it's a beautiful stone, and it's a precursor to rose quartz. And it says Morganite is powerful medicine that heals the old path and wounds around us and our relationships. Breathe gentle and yet powerful energy deep into your heart, and you will move yourself forward. And basically, this stone connects us to the love of the divine, enhances all aspects of ourself, releases self-sabotaging relationship patterns, allowing for loving for us to be loving and unconditional, heals old relationship wounds and opens up our hearts, because those scars sometimes can close down our hearts, creates a sacred space to deal with disconnection between two souls in a divine relationship. And this book that I'm using, I'll reference it below. It's Crystal's Healing Oracle Cards. She has some beautiful, beautiful phrases in here, but she goes, know that you are deserving of the loving, divine relationships, and now is the time to truly embody and believe in yourself. Allow yourself to shine on. And that's Morganite. And it's a wonderful crystal. And so then I thought, well, I'm going to pull some inner child cards and see what we get with them. And what we got was the Star. And on the highest level, before the Star, there's death. It merges into a guardian angel that takes care of us, and the dark angel, and then ultimately purges the karma that we've had with the Tower. Those are the 4 cards before you get to the Star. When you get to the Star, you've been knocked down, dragged around, and sort of feel like 2020 was that year. This leads the Star to experience us rekindling of divine light, wisdom, radiant love, and it's the wishing star, casting money into the wishing well. And when this card appears in our reading, it's an important wish, desire, or hope that will be fulfilled soon. Open up your mind and your heart to your star self for your higher identity that guides you upwards in a path of dreams. You may want to go out for the evening or just before dawn and commune with the heavens. I'm not going to do that today, kids. It's not getting above 28. Heavens can wait for me to commune with them, but it's a lovely thought. If you live where you can do that, do that. And then it says, truly seek the spiritual light that surrounds us, clothed in our life, in our physical body, as you initiate the light to a new perfection. So this is the same thing as Morganite, starting new things, finding new ways to be. Experience this spiritual pentagram. Dedicate your life to deserve the destiny you want to fulfill. Well, when I went to pull the card, I really only meant to pull 1 card, but instead I pulled 3. And one of the other cards I pulled was Scarecrow from Dorothy. And the Scarecrow appears in your cards. Feel more confident about your mental abilities. If necessary, build a strong vocabulary, read the dictionary, learn new language, learn a new literary basics for yourself. Take positive steps to enrich your intellectual universe. Avoid hesitation and indecision. Golden opportunities are always available for the person with foresight and wisdom. I don't think you necessarily need to go read 100 books, but I think it's saying open yourself up to new experiences. And that's going to help you move forward. That's going to help you bring in the Morganite energy of melding your heart and all loves and healing old wounds, but getting new perspectives. And then the third card I pulled is the Ten of Swords, which, as most of you know, means the end, the end, the end. It says, you are now free to explore the new cycle of consciousness awareness. You have worked very hard to overcome mental blocks and tensions. You understand more about the courage that's required to cleanse the mind of negative thoughts. Because you face the dragon. That's a dead dragon in the middle of that picture. I don't know that it's that clear. The circle of life continues, and you are now ready for a new round of adventures. When a future crisis arrives, you will know what to do. Use the wisdom and experience you've gained from the past and nurture yourself forward in your path. The mind is very powerful. You must infuse it with kind and loving thoughts. So those three cards all put together say we're at a point where we can get what we wish. A lot of new things are opening up for us. It's going to be a very exciting year. I'm really looking forward to the next year. But the other thing I want to talk about in Chinese New Year, and I couldn't believe when I pulled those cards after I'd written all this out, is we're back to my journey and how I got to the point where I could lose 100 pounds and still losing. I went looking for something to do, and I ran across an article on a thing called tapping. It's also known as emotional freedom technique. And what you do is you actually tap it. It's the reason this fits into Chinese New Year is it actually uses meridian points that are used in acupressure and acupuncture to help change your body energy. And I'll tell you, I did acupuncture for about a year and a half, and it really shifted my energy. And I'll explain that differently in a different lesson. But this is a way of balancing your energy systems without sticking pins in yourself, without having to go lie down somewhere and have somebody mess with you. It's a psychological, some people call it psychological acupressure, but it's really interesting. And there's a good article in Healthline that was published in 2018. I think it's one of the ones, I'm not sure it's one of the ones I read at the time, but it follows along the same lines. So I'm going to outline it for you, and maybe it's something you want to look at, because I work with energy and cards, but I didn't know about how I could shift the energy in my own body. And I really think the tapping helped. Now, when I was doing the tapping, I wasn't dieting. I wasn't focusing on dieting. What you do when you do tapping is it's based on Chinese medicine, acupuncture, acupressure. There are pathways that help balance the energy in our body and create a better flow. Access to your body energy by sending signals to it repeatedly. Now there's 5 steps in EFT. And if you really want to do this, do not do this just from the outline I'm about to give you. This is just to intrigue you. You need to go, and there's several places you can go, and I think the most affordable one I know of is Daily Om has a class in tapping, has a thing you can do in tapping. That's actually what I used. And I followed the principles this woman taught. And like I said, I wasn't trying to lose weight at the time, and I actually don't think I did lose any weight at the time, but I definitely shifted my energy. So when I ran across the diet, that my body and my brain said, that makes sense, and I could go into doing it, I was ready for it. So this is sort of a preparatory step. And in my case, it was weight loss. This particular technique's been very, very helpful in people with PTSD, which, since we're all going to have that after 2020, you might want to try it. So anyway, there's 5 steps in EFT. Identify the issue you want to work on. It helps you choose kind of where you're going to tap and what you're going to talk about, because also self-talk's part of tapping. 2, test the intensity of how much whatever it is you're trying to deal with hurts you. 0 is meh, and 10 is bah. Okay, so that's like when they give you that pain test on a scale of 0 to 10. How much pain are you in? So 10 is like the worst. Then the 3rd step, this is 3. After you've identified your issue and after you've sort of tested how intense is it, then you get the setup and you establish goals you want to work towards. Now, there's, you have to just acknowledge this is a goal I'm going for. In my case, it was like that I wanted to be able to accept and understand my body. And then I accept yourself. um, in the problem. So when you talk to my body, I just would say I accept that this is how I am, and you don't do negative talk. You only talk to yourself positively. And even though I'm overweight, I accept myself. So I said, even though I'm overweight, I'm not pushing these buttons on my body to lose weight. I'm pushing these buttons on my body so I can get realistic about my weight, so I can understand and accept who I am and my weight. And then the fourth step is to learn the tapping technique. And there's a thing here called the karate chop. And you hit this and you say, I accept my body weight and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with it, how to be where I am. That's not exactly what I said at the time. Go to the Daily Home course. I can't do that part. Then you touch the top of your head, touch between your eyebrows, and between your eyebrows is your bladder. The side of your eyes is your gallbladder. Under your eyes, what's that one? Under your eyes, yeah, it's like right here. I'm not taking my glasses off, guys. I don't look good today. This is under your eye. Then you tap under your nose. Then you tap under your chin. Then you tap the top of your collarbone. And then the one that I always have trouble with, because I'm a big girl, to the side of the rib cage, right under your arms, because I can't hardly reach. And they would you can do it that way or you can do it with both hands, whatever. And then the top of the head. Now, when I would do the techniques, we'd start with, okay, why, I accept my body and I accept the food I eat and, and I would just, she has a very long talk just walking you through accepting your body, accepting your diet, accepting what you're doing. And then you go down and you keep moving down. And trust me, it's nothing you do you do it at home in the afternoon or before you go to bed or something. But you do it, you tap all these spots. In her case, in the article I read, it said, you start here with 3 times with whatever phrase you're going to use. Then you go here, 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 and down here. And then you go to the top of your head and you start and you get to take that energy down. And tap each thing in ascending order 7 times with each statement. And then, go back to the top of your head and close out there and say, I'm closing this out now. And then you self-assess about, has focusing on it with this sort of energy push helped you get calmer about it or feel better about it, quit stressing about it? And that's what it did for me. I quit stressing about being overweight so that I could begin, what I didn't realize, I was marching myself to where I could begin to understand and accept changing my whole weight, because weight, and I'll go into that at a later point, but weight for me was like a fort I put around myself after my husband died and some other things happened, so that it was like a fortress. And it did keep people away from me to some extent, so they left me alone, which is kind of the other thing I wanted then. Anyway, you self-assess your energy level again, like, am I at a 5 now about this? Am I at a 2? Whatever. And they talk about doing this with things like grieving over a parent or a loved one dying. There's a lot of things that 2020 brought to our plate: being isolated from our jobs, losing connections with family and friends, losing relationships. You can use this technique to help you self-assess through that. And it worked for me. And it's like I said, it's based on acupuncture, acupressure. I'm trying to get the acupuncturist who I worked with the most, who's a lovely lady. I would like to get her on. She does all kinds of alternative healing. I'm hoping to get her to come on and explain meridian points, which is another thing. I know they're there. I've made them work. I don't know nothing about them that's going to be meaningful. I hope this was meaningful, though, because I hope you will look at tapping and thinking about tapping. And all I can say is that when you open up those channels and get that energy flowing, you can have what it said in the inner child card and the star, that it's a time when you can open up your life and remember that the true essence of spiritual light, clothed in this life by our own physical body, as you initiate into the light with new perfection represented by its spiritual pentagram, dedicate your life to the destiny you wish to fulfill. So, but you got to be in touch with where you are, and this gets you in touch. This technique can get you in touch with where you are. It's called tapping, EFT, daily ohm. I will put references to all those things below. I'll put a reference to the article if you want to go read the article. Trust me, they do a much better job than I do of explaining this. But I just found it, and it's one of those things I just quietly did on my own and didn't talk to anybody about, oh, by the way, I'm doing this technique or anything. And I just found it very, very useful. And I want to present one more tool to use for you, because I know the meridians work in the body, and that's my other story about acupuncture. I'm not going to do that today. Tomorrow's show is going to be really interesting. Dr. Maggie Doolittle is going to be doing a side-by-side with me with Katrina, and I believe the dog's name is Wallace. But what Dr. Maggie does is she works with the owner of the dog, and she gets into the energy of the critter too. She's just a natural healer. She goes where there's animals, all the animals run over to where she is. Rumor has it she has a strong connection to the fairy world, which helps her, which she learned energetically recently, and that's why animals have been chasing around all her life. So now she wants to be able to help people with animals, and she's been doing this for a little while and has had great success. So we'll see if she can help Wallace the Wonder Dog and Katrina, his beleaguered rescue owner, come to terms with where they're going next. So that's going to be tomorrow's show. And then after that, I'm doing 22 and 33 because I got gripes. I stopped at 11 and people got very confused. So I'm going to do 22 and 33. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. Have a good day. Bye.